All right, you guys are going live.
Yeah, I may text this to myself.
You're live. Excellent connection. Okay, so this and then where do I look for comments and stuff?
They're gonna pop up here. I'll test it for you.
Okay. Did you send something? Whoa. Welcome to anyone watching. This is what we do in our Web3 lives. We just sit on our phone and that's it. I'm gonna start sharing this link. Okay, cool. For anyone tuning in, hang tight. We will be
Not
right
available when using a stream key.
with you. What's that?
Not available when using a stream key.
Okay, so what if we just go to the YouTube and then that way I can see all the comments and stuff?
Yeah. I don't know how delayed it's gonna be though.
It's okay. For anyone watching, thank you for tuning in. We're just sorting some stuff out. We will be with you in a moment. 1 moment, 2 moments, 3 moments. Okay. And then so thank you, Carlos. I love you too. Okay, but I don't want to look at myself on delay like that.
Totally, dude.
There we go.
I'm making like a split screen right now, so I have the comments on the
Yeah.
right.
That's what's going on here too. Can I minimize this, John?
If you want.
Oh no, this is the live one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can I just see him? I don't need to see me.
The live.
Or is that part of the
Yeah.
part of the stream?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let me just cover me then, so that way I don't have to
So you're not
like that. I can do that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not embarrassed. Yes, exactly. All right, cool. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna send a test thing.
Wait. No.
Nope.
No.
I'm not gonna send a test thing.
No, because this isn't under your.
Oh. So, if I want to type, what do I do? Oh, but there's no point for me to type because I'm the host.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let me just share this link. Hang tight, guys, and we'll get started. We'll start having some fun. We'll start answering some questions. And thank you for your patience. You guys are tuning in right now to like the first time that we're doing this. So thank you. Let's get this party started.
We need some intro music.
What's that?
We need some intro music.
Intro music, yeah.
Some non-copyrighted intro music.
I'll make some.
Yeah.
Come and hang. Cool.
Next one's gonna be even better, bro. I'm already getting ideas. Sick.
Yeah, no problem. Cool beans. All right, what's up, Fet? All right, I have this camera set up, so I'm gonna try to be looking at the camera, everyone. However, this is our test run, so I'm gonna do my best to try and work the kinks. But yeah, bro, thank you for coming. Thanks for being willing to hop on the very first one, the very first live stream. And yeah, dude, what's poppin'? Have you heard about space buds? Do you know what those are?
Thank you for the invite. I'm honored. I'm filling some big shoes, following up with after Fahad and Pixels. So it's exciting.
Totally, they were a lot of fun, but I know you're gonna be more fun. So
This is a competition. We have to have a vote after and see how we all did.
should we get started? Is there any questions? Drum roll. Can we get a drum roll?
Oh, I can give you.
Yeah, you can give me a drum roll. All right. Cool.
I think. Oh, I can't give you a drum roll. I can give you this though.
We've officially started. Thank you. Thank you, John. So yeah, man, let me give you a chance to introduce yourself. Why don't you just start sharing how you got into the Cardano NFT space, as if everyone doesn't already know that you're the biggest hustler. But yeah, please go for it.
So I'm Nick, otherwise known as Fettuccine, online on Twitter and on Discord. I first got introduced to crypto way back in 2015, but only got introduced into Cardano in 2021. Sorry, I see that Fed microphone a little low. In 2021, when Space Buds were dropping, so I was big into NBA Top Shot, and I really liked the platform. It finally clicked for me what NFTs were with NBA Top Shot, because I'd been a lifelong collector. I collected baseball cards, I collected basketball cards, I collected bobbleheads, and then when NBA Top Shot came, I'm like, wow, so now I could collect online, and I could show my friends, and I could build a digital presence around these moments that I hold. And that really made sense to me. So I started following people that I respected in the NBA Top Shot community. And one of them was Greek Freak, who created Bizarre Stars. And I saw that he made a tweet one day like, yo, check out these things dropping on Cardano. They're the space bud. They're the crypto punks. And it ended up being Space Bud. So I bought my first Cardano for the first time on that day, $500 worth. And then I created a wallet, a Yoroi wallet, and I bought my first Space Buds, and that's how I got introduced into.
And so, how many Space Buds was $500?
Well, it's funny because I actually minted 2 incorrectly with Coinbase. I didn't know how to do it, so I lost.
For everyone listening, there's only 9,998 Space Buds.
Exactly. I lost 2 of them to Coinbase, and then I realized what I did. So with my remaining $360, it was ADA was $1 at the time, and it was 60 or 70 ADA that I was minting at. So with my remaining 360, I minted 7 Space Buds correctly. That's what started my journey. I never put in more money, but I started flipping right there. I flipped 4 of them for like 3,000 ADA. I went all in on Cardano Bits, went all in on the next collection, went all in on the next collection, and just kept flipping my way up through the ranks. And I was hooked from day one. I just thought it was such an incredible space. I thought the people in Cardano were amazing. I thought that the creators were amazing, the developers, and I just wanted to learn everything that I could about the space because I knew nothing. So I would hop in people's Discords and I'd be like, yeah, what's going on with this? And I would ask a million questions, and just using those questions and those answers and the connections.
Asking the right questions, right?
Is where I came to where I am today. It was just asking people and learning from people that knew, because I knew nothing.
I have a burning question that, so I got into NFTs completely differently, and crypto as a whole. I would say with crypto, I saw the long-term vision. So what I would do, I was just accumulate. I wouldn't flip. I would try to flip because it's fun and there's a gamble and adrenaline to it. But I could never. I never. I don't know if having the patience for it is the right word, but it's fucking hard, man. It's hard to flip, and it's hard to exit, and then trust yourself in knowing, all right, I'm gonna find another opportunity that I'm gonna be able to find another great exit on. So I'm really curious what describe. I'm gonna find a way to ask a question that clarifies what I'm trying to get to. But like, so you minted 7 space buds or whatever it was, 8, 7, 6, and then 7, and then. So what did that look like from there? Like detail wise, you sold all 7 for a profit, or and then
Yeah, so I was still figuring out the Cardano ecosystem, and I was upset that I had lost
Two.
those 2 space bets. So I'm like, I need to make that money back somehow. I was only planning on buying 2 initially, and then when I realized I lost those 2, I'm like, now I need to make that money back. So I used all of it to buy the remaining ones.
got it.
And
So
then
you gave
Space
in
Bet-
to the human like instinct of chasing, but
Yeah,
but at the end of the day,
immediately-
this worked.
Yeah, within like a few days, a day or two, the floor had gone to 500, 600, 800, 1,000
Okay.
data, and I was like, wow, what is this? And I only sold 4 of them initially. I still have the 3 original
Those
space
3.
buds that I minted,
Cool.
but I used those 4 and I flipped them for I think 3,400 ADA, just because those were the ones that I didn't feel like an aesthetic connection to. I always buy and hold things that
Stuff
I
you like.
really like. I like the look of, that I wouldn't mind just keeping in my wallet even if it went to 0.
Right.
So I flipped the ones that I didn't like the look of, and then right then was when Cardano Bits was minting, and I used all of these. I'm like, well, this happened with Space Buds. Why won't this happen with Cardano Bits?
Okay.
So I with Cardano Bits, but then I saw a few collections go out that I didn't like the look of, and one of them like immediately rubbed, and I'm like, all right, so there's danger in here too. You could lose your money.
Right.
So
And
that
so
was
would you say you got out of that one easy because not easy, but like you learned a good lesson without having to pay?
Exactly. I learned a good lesson without having to pay, and that made me realize that this, just like any other investment class, is something that you have to learn inside and out. Not something that you could just throw money at and hope that you win every single time,
Right.
because it's not the case. If you throw your money at everything, you're going to lose everything.
What do you think
So I
that ratio is? You think it's 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20? If you threw 10K at 10 projects, what do you think the outcome is?
I think within a week or 2, I would say 1 of those 10, if you were just throw it at everything, would be successful enough that it's above mint, and then over a year, it would probably be 1 out of 10 of those 10.
Right.
That's certain. So yeah, that's what made me really realize that I need to ask the hard-hitting questions to creators.
Yeah.
I need to which collectors are in this project, why they're in this project, what their plans are with the project, and that was how I was kind of forming my investment thesis between each project that I saw coming out. And that was what made me avoid a lot of these rug pulls that a lot of people in the community got hit hard by.
What were some of the rug pulls that you avoided, and why did you avoid them before they even rugged?
The first one was I think finger monsters. I think they're like the second or third collection on Cardano, and I just didn't like the look of it. I think they looked so weird, and I was like, all right, I don't want this in my wallet. And everyone was talking about it, like, who's minting finger monsters? I'm like, no.
Wow. Wow, but that takes discipline, man. Especially in such a small space. If you have 2,000 people who are actively, minting.
Right. And at this time, it was probably like 150 active people.
Right.
So
all flipping, trying to get everyone to hold each other's bag, kind of.
Exactly. So, I mean, it made it a lot more of a sense of family back then, where you knew every single person who was creating a project. You knew when a project came from, and you're like, who are these founders? I never heard of them, so I would just like avoid those ones. And that was one of the first ones that I avoided minting. And then after like a month, everyone's like, what happened to the staking, not the staking mechanic, like they were supposed to breed, and you're like, what happened to the breeding? It was supposed to happen. And I'm like, all right, thank goodness.
The fucking breeding.
Yeah,
the classic female, bring out the female NFTs and then make the baby NFTs. I don't think anyone actually did that successfully.
No, I don't think so either.
I guess Makasi, or however you pronounce it, they did breeding.
Yeah, I every once in a while I go back and breed my Makosis. I don't know the purpose of it, but I like it.
I never got into that project. I'm not very familiar, although I do know some serious people are backing them and love their stuff.
Yeah, I like the gamified ones when it's done correctly. It's such a hard thing to build a game in this space, and I don't think people realize how much funding that takes to properly build out a
Yeah.
game. And like that funding can run dry so quickly. So that I mean, I've been burned on game ones before, but I think when you find the right one, those are the home run.
Yeah, man. I like sometimes I think about the clavers, and I think everyone has really high expectations for them. And to me, sometimes when I think about it from a business perspective, I think to myself, like, to make something this foundationally strong and like wild is gonna take a lot of capital.
Right.
And then I hear people, like, I've heard just here and there, like, it's not like it's an overbearing amount, but I've heard before, like, oh, 30,000 pieces of land, you know, what a money grab. And it's like, holy shit, like, you know, that's 3 million ADA. Sure, is that a lot of ADA? Okay. Yeah, I guess. But then in US dollars, that's $1.5 million. And then taxes, now you're at $1 million. What can you do with $1 million that, oh, and we haven't even shared it with Snoop Dogg yet. So now Clay takes in 600-700 grand. And what can they do from that? How can you build a metaverse with 600-700 grand?
Right, exactly. It's super hard. And you look at the Sandbox and Decentraland, we've had tens, if not hundreds of millions of funding, and the level of development that they're at now, like, you're not walking around Sandbox and interacting with your favorite brands right now. It
Right.
takes a lot, and it's definitely a long-term investment. But when you have the right teams behind it and the right connections, obviously, if
Exactly.
they have to be able to connect with IOG and with Snoop Dogg, they have the connections to be able to.
Exactly. Yeah. To be clear, I'm not poo-pooing Clay. I love Clay. It's my favorite project, and I think that they're gonna figure it out, however it is. But when I was saying this, just for all the people, when I was saying, you know, what are they gonna do with 600-700 grand? I'm just trying to express that, like, whatever they do, it's not a money grab. That's not what it is. But yeah, man. Okay, so I still want to understand. So you sold 4 of the space buds that you originally minted, and then you ended up with like 4,000 ADA, 4,000 more ADA, and then
Correct, yes.
and then you took, and then so you still held 3 because you're like, all right, you know, I need to take profit, and then be into these for free, and then you took that 4K roughly, and then went into Cardano Bits.
Cardano Bits was the next one that I went into. That was minted about, I would say, like a week or 2 after Space Buds minted. They were originally gonna mint like, I think, a few days after, but then there was a problem with the metadata.
Yeah.
And Alessandro actually stopped the Cardano Bits creator from minting and said, like, well, listen, you're screwing up your collection. Wait, and then he helped do the whole minting service for
Wow.
which was awesome. But it was like a very strange distribution method. It was because it was so thrown together so last minute. It was all through Google Docs. So he basically created a Google sheet, and he posted an address, and he was just like, send 10 ADA here, and then he guessed when 1,000 transactions came in, and he would change the address, send 20 ADA here, and then he guessed when 1,000 came in, send 30 ADA here, and then he forgot 60, so he went from 50, 70, 80, 90. 100, and then a few days later he's like, I forgot 60, here's the 60 bucket again.
Oh my god.
And we were just waiting like a week to get the NFTs back, and eventually we did get it back, so which was like awesome. I mean, if that happened today, people would be livid about it.
Yeah,
But,
seriously.
we didn't know back then, and we were just like, oh, this is the way it works. we don't know how anything gets distributed. So I got like, I think I got like 650 50 Cardano bits out of that mint, and one of the
50 or
rarest,
650?
no, 50 is
right.
what I got. And one of my rarest mints was a Cardano bit with wings.
Oh, nice.
Was blue wings, but you're saying nice, like nobody knew what wings were back then. There was no wings.
There was no rarity?
There was rarity built in, but there wasn't anything like nobody knew that the wings were like insane. So I wanted to create value behind the wings. So what I did was I created this Discord group called the winged warriors. And basically, I would invite anybody who pulled a Cardano Bits wing in there, and it became like an
an
a little
exclusive thing. Yeah, I'm sure that's where the
yeah,
Space Bud Bull Chat got their inspiration too.
exactly, yeah. So I created this group because I wanted to create value behind my rarest pull. So there were 100 people in it, and I happened to get some of the biggest collectors in the space.
But okay, so what went over my head was why are you saying that people didn't understand how rare the wings
Well,
were?
now you look at every single collection, and there's wings included in it. People are like, oh, you put
Right, of
wings,
course,
awesome.
people like the wings.
It's
Yeah,
now the rarest things. But before, there was no wings on Space Buds. Nobody
correct.
thought that wing was a rare trait. But now, after the introduction of the winged warriors, and people always talking about the winged warriors way back when, then everyone created wings in their collections.
It's amazing that this is all history. Like in 2 to 3, 4 or 5 years, a lot of people in the space won't understand where it came from or why it came from. Just
Exactly,
like Drams and his duck branding.
Exactly, and now you see projects with ducks coming out because of the way that Drams has branded his ducks.
Yeah.
So that was like the original thing that happened with wings, was now everybody wanted to put a wing in the collection, because then the winged warriors would be trying to buy it and get the winged attribute.
Right. So then what? So you minted 50 of them. How were you able to mint 50? The demand wasn't crazy or what?
The demand was crazy. I was just like spam minting
On it.
with like four different wallets. And then when that whole thing happened with the last bucket and people still didn't get their NFTs, people slowed down on the last tier, and I just kept going.
Right. And so how much, okay, so after you minted Cardano Bits, you had 50 Cardano Bits, 3 Space Buds, and how much ADA?
0.
Okay, so you went full-fledged. So then you made the winged warrior thing. What did you do with those 50 bits from there?
Then I just started flipping. The ones I liked, I kept, and the ones I didn't like, I would price it in, and I would talk to people in the Discord. I would see what they were looking for. People were like, I'm looking for a doctor's head, I'm looking for an alien, and I would flip them for whatever wasn't aesthetically pleasing in my wallet.
Yeah.
And that was really like how I built my collection in the beginning, was just flipping what I don't like and flipping what I didn't like. And then
I like what you said in the beginning of the chat. You said what I didn't aesthetically connect with. I like how you phrase that, because it's not about like or don't like, right? Because another man's trash, another man's treasure, so on and so forth, and it's just whatever someone connects with. I haven't really found a phrase for that, but I like the way you put that, aesthetically connecting with it.
I think that's one of the most important things that people don't realize about NFT collections. A lot of people just buy for rarity, because they're like, oh, I got the top 1%. So what? I mean,
totally.
If you don't like, would you put it up in your house? I think if you look at Bored Ape Yacht Club, Justin Bieber went in and bought probably the least rare NFT in the collection, but it looked really good.
Yeah.
And he paid, I think, like $1.5 million for it, which is like 5 times the floor for the very basic.
But right, and to us, because we're so close, like so glued to and so bubbled in our community, we think like, wow, that's crazy. But in like the real world, like that like happens like very often. People pay more because they like it, so on and so forth. Just like, a blue car or a white car, someone may pay double for it because they want the blue. Like that shit just happens. And maybe the blue's not even that rare, but.
Right, absolutely, and especially with collections that are going to become that status symbol. Oh, do you own a Claynation?
Right. You
don't want just the rarest one if it doesn't look good. You want one that you're going to be proud of and make your digital identity. That's why you see you see people rocking CryptoPunks that are just very aesthetically pleasing, or Bored Apes that are very aesthetically pleasing, and they build their brands around those images.
Right.
Who cares about the rarity when it gets to a certain point?
Yeah, you can see that playing out already with Bored Apes. The rarities really don't matter. A gold ape, if someone had to sell a gold ape, if they listed it at maybe double floor, it would sell. you know, but everyone
Yeah.
thinks they're worth like 5 times floor, 6 times floor, but it's just, it doesn't really, or maybe even more, but it doesn't really happen like
If you
that.
think about it too, the value of buying is really at the floor, or the ultra rare. There's
Yeah.
like in the middle, it doesn't really.
And I think
doesn't
the
matter.
ultra rare only hits if you get in early.
Correct. Like if you bought the rarest Bored Ape now, or a few months ago, it would have only appreciated about 250%, maybe 400%, because people already understood that as the rarest ones.
Mhm.
But the floor ones have probably appreciated 5,000%.
Right.
Now there isn't that much of a differential between the rarest one and the floor one anymore.
Right.
So when I'm buying into collections, I'm scooping the floor only.
Right.
If I see something special with a collection, I'll buy the rarest one. But other than that, I'm really going for floor only, because that's what the highest profit potential is.
Right, because if the project's going to be successful and it's going to be something cool and something to brag on, it's going to be hot, it's going to be popular, and at that point it doesn't matter if you have a floor or a nice one. You're going to get the same benefits. Just like the when they gave you ape coin per ape, right? It was 10,000 per ape. They didn't give a shit if you had a gold one or this and that. And honestly, when they make the rarities, they just make the rare, like, you know, I'm sure it gets misconstrued at this point, but when artists make rarities, the rarities are just for fun. They don't know, they don't care what's going to happen on the secondary.
It's all arbitrary.
Yeah.
It's all arbitrary.
Yeah.
Unless there's a collection built around specific attributes. Like in Moonbirds on Ethereum, there's specific utility to specific attributes. So then it makes sense. Then you're like, oh, I want this squiggle attribute because then I get entered into a raffle to win a squiggle, or I want this to get entered into this. So then it makes sense. Otherwise, it's all for people whatever they like. So the floor doesn't change anything from the rarest ones in my eyes.
And okay, so now going back to your Cardano Bits, where did you land, or where do you remember that you landed? You had 0 ADA, you had 50 bits, but you sold a shitload. So what did that look like?
Yeah, I sold about 30 of them for I'd say about 26,000.
So now you have 25,000 ADA, 20 Cardano Bits, and 3 Space Buds.
Yeah.
From 360 ADA.
Yes.
Cool.
And
what happened next?
And then it just kept, I honestly couldn't even remember. It was just the same thing same exact thing. And I would probably avoid 5 collections before I decided to go heavily into one collection. Avoid 5, 10 collections, and then go heavily into another one.
And now that you are where you are, I mean, you've done that a lot, and you've built a really nice collection for yourself. Now at this point, do you have a different overall investment strategy? Now do you just hold and just wait for the bigger returns and sit comfortably, or do you still work it?
Well, now I don't have like the bandwidth to be studying collections, to be asking creators as many questions as I was before, to be looking what people are looking to buy off secondary.
Which is at this point natural selection. You built your way up here, and now you have Angel Baby Hit Squad, and now you have a big collection. So like it only makes sense.
Right. So, but had I not been running my own project now, I would still be doing the same thing, and I would be going in every single Discord of each project, looking at the selling tab, looking at the buying tab, seeing what's interesting, what attributes people are building their brands around, because then somebody becomes big with a certain attribute, then those attributes are going to start to go up in value.
Yeah.
And things like that. All the small things that make a big difference when you're making small plays over and over again. If you make 1% more ADA on 100 different plays, you're doubling your ADA higher than somebody else who did.
Schulze in the chat just said, and then with all that, you bought a Cardano Rock for 5K.
Yeah, but then I got to the level where at this point this flip didn't really matter. So I started making plays for social capital more so than
there's a price for that. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I started making plays more so for social capital when I realized the value of that more so than making plays for ADA flips. So if I saw a collection was becoming very popular, I would buy one of this collection and
Yeah.
tweet about it and be like, hey, now I'm a part of you guys, and get that social capital in. So Cardano Rocks was a meme at the time, and I had 50 space buds. Do I buy a 51st space bud, or do I buy a Cardano Rock as a joke? And then as my follow-up tweet was just a picture of the Cardano Rock.
Yeah, I bought one too, by the way. So we own collectively we own a whopping 2% of all the Cardano Rocks.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what my explanation for that is. There's value in ADA, and then there's value in community. And having a presence in this community has a lot of value behind it, and making some moves to
being so early. Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't realize the potential for that in terms of laying your foundation down in social media, because in like 5 years, when the whole a lot of people are going after Cardano NFTs, you can do a lot.
At who the biggest names are in the space, and they're going to want them as advisors for their projects. They're going to want them as this for their projects, for these big Web 2 companies coming in and being like, I can build on Cardano. They're going to have some people who they're going to be relying on. And I realize that very early. And I think people in this space right now that buy NFTs and don't tweet about it are doing themselves such a huge disservice in that sense, that they're not building their social capital.
Right.
It should be, if I buy, I mean, now I can't do it anymore just because people will think I'm supporting whatever project, or I'm part of whatever project I'd be tweeting about. But I think anybody else should be saying, like, I just picked up this NFT. What do you guys think about it? I just picked up this NFT. What do you guys think about it?
And it can be completely genuine too. Like, there's nothing wrong with striking up a conversation and just literally, like, even if it's negative, oh, I don't like the covered helmet on that bud. Oh, I don't like that plot because it's more inland. Maybe go grab one that is more waterfront or something. Like, I think the community should be open to, which they are, but everyone should just be open to discussion and learning and difference of opinions, but healthily.
Absolutely, 100%. It's always, any conversation is welcome, always.
Yeah, 100%. Let me look through some of these comments and see what's been going on.
Viva has a rock too.
Your microphone is a little low, someone said. I never really heard your voice that low.
I was trying to talk a little bit after that. But I see a question for Fet. What is your plan for ABHS once all airdrop partnerships have been launched? Also,
hit it.
Touch on D.
Yeah. Dude, get right into it, bro.
I'll just do a quick overview of Angel Baby Hit Squad for the people that don't know it.
Please do.
I'll be fast about it. But so when I came up with the idea, it was about 9 months ago. No, it was probably like almost a year ago now at this point. When I came up with the idea, Space Buds were trading for 250 ADA. Cardano Bits were going for 15, 20 ADA.
Wow.
There's absolutely zero traction in the market.
But that was like after they all did have their hype, right? Yeah.
It took up, and then they just went down to 250, and it stayed there for like 3-4 months. I'm like, something has to change. What would I have to do to create that interest in Cardano NFTs? That I look over at the Ethereum blockchain, I see Bored Apes taking off, I see this taking off, and I'm like, why is this amazing community, Cardano, not getting the attention that it should? So what I came up with is an Ethereum NFT with Cardano utility, which would basically make these Ethereum people, when they saw the project and they liked the art or they liked whatever the idea was behind the project, they had to create a Cardano wallet, link their wallets, and then they would get airdrops into their Cardano wallet from the best projects, from the best artists that I could think of at the time, into their wallets completely free. And then they would interact in the Cardano ecosystem. And hopefully what drew me in and what made me fall in love with Cardano would make them also get drawn in and help them potentially fall in love with Cardano. And from this project, I've helped create, I would believe, about 150 Cardano wallets for the first time, and I know that my team has created more. So we've definitely had some traction with that. So yeah, we're the first Ethereum NFT with Cardano utility, and what we do is we do those airdrops cross chain. So if you hold the Ethereum NFT, you get the Cardano
Right.
airdrops. We've done 8 airdrops so far. We have coming up. I don't know how people feel about it now. We have Space Buds. We have Play Nation. We have Aeonium Sky. We have With Spaces. We have Chatty Nassar, and 3 more that I'm not remembering right. Cardano Trees, and 2 more airdroppers into your Cardano wallet completely for free.
And you pay to airdrop them as well.
Well, I pay.
That's what I'm saying. You pay.
Oh yeah. I pay each of the artists up front because I'm really a big fan of supporting artists in the space. So,
what do you think? What do you think it's gonna, at the end of all the airdrops? What do you think it's gonna cost you in total that you personally spent in merely just those airdrops? Meaning the transaction fees.
Yeah, I could tell you right now. So I paid 2 to 3 Ethereum each airdropper. There's 16 airdroppers. So that's 45 ETH right there for pre, just for the art. And then for the distribution cost, it's about 4,000 ADA times 16.
Wow.
64,000 ADA in distribution cost.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we're doing the Bazaar Stars, not Bazaar Stars, the Demon Hit Squad whitelist token, which is also airdropped, and that's 1-to-1. Tell Fettuccine to remove the mustache shape.
That's funny.
But yeah, so we paid the distribution cost of that too. But and then we have partnerships in real life. So if you mint an Ultimate Angel, you get lifetime access to an invite-only club in Los Angeles. We have a partnership with Frescoes, so you'll get upgrades and discounts at various hotels throughout Europe. We have a partnership with Future Fest, so that you could go into the digital metaverse and listen to concerts. We have a partnership with Ism Toys, which is going to be announced. Well, we announced it, but the toys are actually coming soon.
Oh, nice.
Where you can get your angel made into a toy, and if somebody else buys your angel, you get a percentage of the commission on that. It's like so many different cool things. We've thrown parties in Vegas, at Coachella, one in New York, and we're throwing another one in Vegas coming soon for CNFTCon actually. So we have all these events that you get access to also. But to touch on what BH asked, after the airdrops are finished, the partnerships, that was kind of just a benefit to get people interested in Cardano and kind of open up the conversation between the blockchains.
Like, oh, this is what you can do. Yeah.
You can do, this is who you can meet, this is the interactions you can have on this blockchain.
Right.
And then I pushed my full focus onto in real life partnerships. So pushing partnerships such as Frescoes, where you get discounts and upgrades at hotels, pushing partnerships with local brands, pushing partnerships with whatever it may be, to further the value of actually holding the underlying asset, more so than just seeing the benefit of this airdrop and this airdrop and this airdrop. And then Demon Hit Squad is on Cardano, so that's our secondary collection. For every angel that you mint and hold, you get a whitelist token for Demon Hit Squad, and you can only mint it with the whitelist token. So if you don't want to mint it, you have to sell your token to somebody else, and then they can mint it.
Right.
And that's going to be the same thing. There's going to be airdrops. There's going to be party access. There's going to be partnerships and all of that as well.
When's the mint for the demons?
It is most likely end of this month.
Oh wow, that's soon.
Yeah.
Are you happy with how they're coming out?
I do. We're working with Glus and with Tyler with Spaces. They're the artists on Demons. And we're basically going through all the artwork right now. We're fine tuning. We're seeing which combinations we like, which ones we don't like. We're removing attributes. We're adding attributes, and that should be all good to go in the next few weeks. And then we're launching.
I just want to reiterate for anyone tuning in. Fettuccine said that he spent 64,000 ADA of his own ADA just to get you guys these airdrops for owning an Angel Baby.
That's the distribution cost.
That's just correct.
I've spent a lot more paying the actual artist.
Right. So just 64,000 ADA in distribution. Do you want to share how much more you spent, or does it not matter?
Yeah, it would be another 90,000 ADA for the artwork. So
Yeah. So this shit's no joke.
160,000 ADA I paid it in terms of that, but then the partnerships also cost money and different things like that. So pretty much a strong percentage of what goes into the project goes back to holders.
Right. And, you know, I think that you're doing this it originally started for a great cause, you know, bringing Ethereum people over to Cardano just to show them what the community is about. And regardless of...
And open the conversation the other way, too. I mean, I've seen
true.
so many people
It's true.
who opened up a MetaMask wallet and minted and then they minted degen tunes because they finally created a MetaMask wallet and they made a good amount of money on that. So I'm very happy to be in that middle ground position, that bridge for people to learn about both blockchains and see what they like about Ethereum, see which one they like about Cardano. They'll bring whatever they learn to whatever blockchain they prefer and build something beautiful. I mean, I think that Angel Baby Hit Squad and Demon Hit Squad are the perfect middle ground for that. And I'm very happy and blessed to be in a position that I could have built something like this.
Right. Wow. Well, thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah. I hope everyone watching has a baby, and if not, just, you know, go mint one to support. I think at this point it's like $100 or $150.
$100. We're still minting. An ultimate was just pulled.
Oh, no way.
Ago. Yeah.
So there's 2 left or 3 left?
There's 3 left. We're at 67% minted, so your odds are higher than when we started.
Higher than ever before.
Yeah, exactly. And the question on the LA Club access, you can't rent that only because it's a partnership with the actual club, and we have to supply the names of to the list for who is added to their like monthly to their list of people who can get into the club. So we can't constantly be editing that.
Fet helped me mint with ADA, such a smooth experience. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thanks for tuning in, BH.
Yeah, so that's another thing for people who don't know how to mint with Ethereum. We pretty much create
or with ADA, right? Or both.
Yeah, an easy solution for people to go into our Discord, open up a ticket request, and then mint with ADA. So they send in ADA, they just get the NFT back. We want to make it as easy of an experience as you can to mint with whatever blockchain.
And so you have a team ready to help Ethereum or just new people, for example, create Cardano wallets too.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly myself and my community managers, but it's not a whole team. I'm in there 20 hours a day. Totally.
Well, yeah, man. I think it's pretty amazing what you're doing, and I think if there, I don't know. I was gonna say if there are any, you know, naysayers, maybe they just think that it's like, you know, I think a lot of people resort to like, oh, it's a money grab. Like, nah, man, it's not.
Right.
It's so far from that.
It's easy to think that when you come from Cardano and you're used to seeing these 40 ADA mints and these 50 ADA mints. But also, like, what are you getting out of those 40 and 50 ADA mints? I've already given 8 airdrops. You're going to get another 8 more. You get the access to all these clubs and parties. You get the partnership access. I'm doing 10 times more than a standard Cardano mint would.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Have you seen Doxy Bits video yet?
the most recent. I love him. He lives very close to me. I'm in New York, and he's like 30 minutes away, so we've met up for drinks a few times.
No way.
Very good guy.
Hey John, how do I share my screen? I want to play this video for the people watching. You can come in. You can say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
No?
No.
You didn't do your makeup today?
I didn't do my makeup today, CJ. Let me see. Alright, let's go right here.
Oh, we're sharing the screen now, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything bad on Chrome?
I don't know, maybe. About to find out.
Cool.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Wait, maybe we should share the screen right now. Love
Okay,
you. Sorry.
no problem. Can we share Fettuccine screen?
Yeah, he probably can do it.
Are you able to share your screen, Fet?
You want me to? I mean, my screen is so.
Wait, what's the video?
Just put his video.
I'll put the video in the chat. What is it?
Okay.
If you...
Hope this is entertaining, everybody.
Which one do you want? The Space Buds one?
His Space Buds video, yeah.
Yeah, I could share.
Pop it.
Is this working?
So that text wasn't something else.
Oh my god, that would have been freaking gold.
Can you see it now?
I don't know if I can.
This video, I can put on the desktop. I could throw that too.
Here, tell me if this is working, John. I don't think this is Here, look. Go
I
left.
could click.
Yeah.
I could click play whenever you want.
Is that how it works? Like this?
Yeah.
Should I click play?
Yeah, play it.
Hello, everybody.
Donald here
Once again.
Oh wait, pause it.
Little update.
It's echoing. Okay, try it now.
Rooney. Some big drama.
Why is it echoing?
Big drama happening.
Space Buds community.
Wonderful people.
project.
Wonderful project.
But there's little drama.
They
say the art is fake.
fake
art.
Fake art.
Not worth anything.
Goodbye.
But I don't think it's
Fake
fake art at
art
all.
Everybody. No, I don't.
I think that Space Buds are going to be just fine. I think that they're wonderful. And I think this is all a bunch of bullshit. So I'm gonna keep buying Space Buds, just like I buy the Space Force. Very excited. Very wonderful project.
Whatever. This is fine. Whoa.
Hello.
Whoa. What just happened?
Sorry, going back. I don't know what happened.
I wasn't done.
Was it finished? He went off.
It wasn't done. We missed my favorite part.
So funny. I like Doxy Bit a lot. He and I have met up a few times. Very good person. He was in the original Wing Warriors chat, so that's how we got to know each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, long story short, the reason I wanted to just share that was because, like, he just made, like, he's not wrong, you know? Like, he was like, you want art? You know, go somewhere else. This is a cartoon dinosaur. This is not art. What it is, he said to, I don't feel comfortable enough saying it. It was pretty funny though. But long story short, he was like, you know, he's like, you want art, you know, go to fucking like something extraordinary, something crazy. But like Space Bus is not about art. It's a fucking cartoon dinosaur.
Right. I think there's a trade-off between quantity and quality of art, and I think when you get to a certain size, there you lose that sense of art and you gain more of a sense of community. And I think anything at that 10,000 size isn't about the art; it's about community. And then when you're at 10 total pieces, 5 total pieces, 1 total piece, that's when you could really buy a piece specifically for the art.
Yeah. How do you feel about everything? I think there was some new news this morning.
I didn't even see what the news was.
Yeah. Let's let's talk about that, because I haven't really fully seen what it's been about. Let me find what Alessandro said. From Alessandro. So he said, hey guys, quick update. We got 2 opinions so far, one from a US attorney, one from a Europe attorney. The opinions are a bit different and overall it's not fully clear yet, so we need to talk about them a bit more. Regardless, I'm curious about what the community thinks about the outcomes, or any outcome. Thinks about any outcome. 1, lawyer thinks everything's fine, just continue with how things are. 2, lawyer thinks all is fine, but community is not happy with all the trace parts, therefore go through a token migration with redesigned space buds, which will still maintain the history of being the first 10K collection. 3, lawyer thinks it's not fine. Well, I think only possibility at that point is to go through a token migration. He was describing, basically those are the 2 options. Do a token migration for either just the gadgets that are like full-blown traced, or just continue doing nothing. And what's your opinion?
It's such a tough conversation to have, and obviously, like what Matthew Marsh is saying, if the controversy puts Alessandro off of doing Cardano stuff, that'll be the worst outcome. He's such an incredible mind in our space and pushes such technical boundaries. We wouldn't have NFTs if it wasn't for him. We wouldn't have Melmi. We wouldn't have all these technical standards that we have because of him. And basically something out of his control happened, and he's getting vilified for it, and his collection is taking a hit because of it. So I mean, and I also don't know if I like a token migration, because then you lose the idea of it being the first collection. You don't.
But it's just that's just the idea at that point. He's describing it that he's going to figure out a way to make it where it won't burn the history.
Right.
It's just redirecting. It's just redirecting to, I guess, a new image.
Right. So that, I mean, that's fine. I honestly, I think there weren't any cases where it was an exact like rip of somebody else's artwork. I think he was tracing.
It was at least like yeah.
It was tracing and very, very heavily inspired. So I don't think there's going to be any actual issues about copyright issues.
I really don't think there's going to be an issue either. I think at this point it's just how the community perceives it.
Exactly, and it's the community perception that's the problem, and that's something that I don't know how the community is going to take it. And I don't think that it was Alessandro's joke's fault, and I don't think it was Zeke's fault. And I think it might have just been honestly a lapse of judgment and a lapse of knowing what NFTs were by the artist. He was hired outsourced in the beginning and didn't know what an NFT project was at the time, so didn't know that this would have been an issue 10 years down the line. So I think these are issues that I'm happy to kind of take a back seat and allow Alessandro to figure it out, allow Zeke to figure it out, and I trust in them as the project creators to make the best decision moving forward. And it's not something that I want to influence anybody in any way with. Yeah,
totally. I think that when all this stuff happened, at first I was nervous about the community's perception, and I was, once I saw one image copied, I was like, all right, I know all these images everything is heavily inspired or at least traced to a certain extent. So I was like, all right, I'm preparing for the worst. I did think it would be a good idea to recreate the images in a way that wouldn't kill the history. However, like you said, I think taking the back seat is the best way to do it, because I just don't think it matters. And you even saw from yesterday, the floor went down to 3,000 ADA. Well, not for long. I think it's already back at 4,500 or something. And if anyone at this point is going to paper hand and get scared and sell, I think they would have done it by now. And if they don't, then there will be, certain people here and there that do.
And anybody buying at this point, knowing full well of the situation, is not somebody who's going to be selling at this point.
Right.
So I think long term, obviously this needed to come
I think
to
we
light.
saw the worst of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad it came to light, because eventually it was going to. and obviously it should have been avoided from day one. But once you're in this position, there's really no getting out of it. And I think people are overreacting on Twitter, and I think it'll all blow over.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people were really excited to FUD Space Buds because one, they're either, I don't know, they were just resentful of it being number one, or they didn't have one, or I don't know, maybe they've been offended by a Space Buds maxi in the past. I don't know, but yeah, there was a lot of hateful stuff going on in Twitter. Dude, Twitter yesterday, you didn't need to go outside to see fireworks. You could have just been on Twitter. You could have just been on Twitter.
Like everybody was getting attacked on Twitter. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. What'd you do yesterday for the 4th?
I spent time with my family. I had Kate come with me, and we went to my grandma's house. We had my cousins come through. It was nice. My aunts and uncles. We were all drinking and hanging out.
Sweet. Did you see fireworks?
Yeah, but just like not that. We didn't go anywhere to see actual ones. We just did like the ones in the backyard kind of thing.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Spent time with family and friends, and then where I live, I have a great view. And last year, I was literally in my jacuzzi, and like these like really big houses across the way had their own fireworks show. So I was literally in my jacuzzi last year watching fireworks as if it was my own show. However, they really set my expectations high for this year because I was expecting the same thing, and it didn't happen. And so I didn't get as good fireworks as I expected.
The bear market, everyone had to
Yeah,
size down there.
yeah, exactly. The bear market fireworks. I did hear a lot, man. Like it felt like it was in my driveway or something, but that like it was going crazy loud. I usually hear a lot of dogs howling and like crying and stuff, but I didn't hear that this year. I don't know why. Maybe not a lot of people on my street have dogs. I'm not sure. But yeah, man, I had a good day yesterday.
Yeah, it's good. I like that. I like the days where you get to kind of get off the computer. I mean, we're so fixed to our computers, to Discord, to Twitter. It's nice to really to disconnect and spend time with family, spend time with friends.
Yeah, it is. I sure tried. However, I really got sucked in. But no, not to take away from what you're saying. 100%. I think it's really important to disconnect sometimes, whether it means turn off your phone. That's what I had to do yesterday. I turned off my phone. But yeah, whether it means turn off your phone, whether it means go somewhere where there's no signal, whether it means go snowboarding for the day, or I don't know, a silent retreat like Charles did once.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about that. I'm all about meditation, about like closing the computer, reading a book. I mean, that's another thing that I think about with my project. I want people to experience life off of the computer screen. I want them to get these access to parties, these access to clubs, these access to hotels and events and experiences that they wouldn't have normally had access to, just token gated through an online experience. Because we spend too much time online. We spend too much time on our phones. We spend too much time like texting instead of talking over. And that's something I definitely want to push with Angel Baby Hotspot and Beam Hotspot too, is getting off the computer.
And what are some of your ideas other than the parties?
Well, that's something that I would love to have, like a weekly space. This is something that a project that I'm helping out with, Prismatics, is doing really well, where they do a weekly space where they do a meditation for this week, or they do breath work for this week. They do financial literacy for this week. And every week you have something that you could kind of self-help yourself away from just everyone worrying about floor price, everyone worrying about this and that. And that's something that I would love to integrate into my server as well, is having this self-help kind of course alongside these experiences where you get to go to. We're throwing something in Greece in a few months, which should be pretty cool for users, where you kind of get like a getaway for a weekend, and you go on a boat and everyone's hanging out on the boat together. And this stuff where you're just all all disconnected, but connecting in real life.
Right. That's dope. Where did the inspiration for Angel Babies come from?
So the inspiration for Angels came. Well, I knew I wanted to do an Ethereum NFT with Cardano utility. I knew I wanted to expose people on the Ethereum blockchain
The
to
art.
Cardano and what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and expose to what was going, like how awesome the artists and how awesome the projects were. But I didn't know what I wanted to do the art. So my girlfriend Kate, you met her in Austin. She has a clothing brand called 99 Angels. So I was like, all right, I'll do angels. I want them to be kind of these Renaissance angels, these statues that if you're walking through Italy, you'll see a statue of an angel. And it's been there for 500 years. It's going to be there another 500 years. I want these timeless images, but I wanted them to have like a dark side.
Right.
So I want them holding guns. I want them holding rocket launchers and knives and stuff like that. I want it to be like regal, but have that dark side to it too, which I just think is such a cool image to have. So I had that idea of it, and I talked to Greek Freak, and I'm like, hey, do you have any ideas for artists? And he's like, yeah, I've got these two awesome guys in South Africa, Shinji, Akira, and King Debs. So those are my two artists in South Africa who created the Angels. We have a global team. Our developers are in Colombia and Singapore.
Wow.
Our community manager is in Romania and Florida, and then we got a teammate in California, and then I'm in New York. So we're like all over the place. But yeah, the way that Shinji and King Debs put those angels together, I was very, very happy with. It was exactly what I wanted to see, and that like Renaissance angel, just like a little bit better.
Yeah, I love those, dude. They're, some of them are definitely, I have trouble aesthetically connecting with, as you would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, some of them are dope. Like I'm into the gold one. I think you pointed it out a few months back with that one. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Some of them I hate too. I'm like, ugh.
How did the process, at least how did the process work for you when you came up with all the traits and stuff? Did you come up with the traits, or you collaborated with the artists, or?
The way that we came up with the traits is myself, Sick, who is our lead community manager, and Rokindo, who created the Rokindo Collective. He manages Hype Skulls and Digital Lowlife.
Mm-hmm.
We got on a call one day, and I was explaining what I wanted to see, these Renaissance angels, and we basically just came up with a spreadsheet of every attribute that we would think would be cool on these angels. So we came up with skin types, so like marble, black marble, leather, stone, metal, gold, iridescent, and we just came up with like all this list. And I have the list somewhere on my computer. Then we did clothing. Then we did headpieces, eyes, different. We pretty much broke down everything. And then for each piece, whether it was skin, for head, for clothing, we also added in 2 or 3 slots, which were Shinji's choice. It just allowed our artists to come up with something interesting. So that came out really well. And then I gave like an idea for each of the ultimate ones. So I was like, an Angel of Light, which was one that was just pulled, the 666 Angel, which was pulled before that, and we wanted all these different variations. And then we kind of just gave free reign to our artists to work on it. And after like 5 months, because it takes a long time to build all these attributes, we came out back with it, and I was like, no, I like this one, I don't like this one, and we scrapped a bunch, and we added new attributes in, and then eventually we had the full set of what we like.
That's dope, man. I like the Angel of Light idea.
Yeah, that was the one that was just pulled. If you want to check on Twitter, I think it's one of our most recent posts.
Can you share it? I'm scared to fuck it up.
Yeah, let me see.
For anyone who's tuning in, feel free to ask some questions. We're at the point now where we wrung out some of the stuff we wanted to talk about, but feel free to just drop in here. I know someone asked what your thoughts are on dead pixels. Ooh.
Yes.
I can see. I don't know if everyone else can see.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else can see, but that's the Angel of Light that was just pulled 2 days ago. So the person who minted that now gets lifetime access to the club in Los Angeles.
Right.
And then, yeah, so we've had a few of the ultimates sell on secondary, which was pretty awesome to see. One went for, I think, in USD values like 6,000, and one went for 5,000, which is nice for $100 mint.
Yeah, 100% a cool, modest 5060X.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Dead Pixels? Someone asked.
Oh, I love. Let me stop sharing. I love Dead Pixels. I'm upset that I paper handed so many of them because I mean that's always my minting strategy is mint a good amount, flip the ones that I don't really resonate with, and have the rest of them for free. And Dead Pixels was one that I kind of got. I minted a bunch of them. I think I minted 40 of them,
Wow.
42 of them, and then the floor went to like 15 ADA or 20 ADA. And I was like, oh, shoot, all right. I guess this is another one that I...
A rug pull? That's
it's
far from rug pull.
Just another one that I have to eat the losses. Like, I refuse to sell anything for a loss. So then when it came back and it was like 200, 300, 400 ADA, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. So I just started selling like 35 of them. And I'm like, and then it just kept going up. I'm like, I should not have sold. I don't know why I did. But I really like Dead Pixels. I like AF a lot. I think it's an awesome community. AF is helping with a new project coming out soon, Mini Magic's Kingdom, which should be exciting to see too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love AF. He's awesome, man. He's very sharp. Very just very well educated. I feel like the only way to get to that point is by asking the right questions, like you said in the very first place, and I'm sure he grew up doing that.
Right, and I think he just doesn't take any shit from anybody.
Doesn't take any shit, no.
He knows what he wants to create, and he's gonna do it whether you like it or not. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate the founder. I feel like collections need champions behind their collection because it is such a brutal ecosystem. It is so hard to like weather every bear market, every bull market, and you need that person behind it that's going to be pushing it no matter what. And I have full faith in AF that he's one of those people.
Mini Magic's Kingdom is a project. You can find it on Twitter. Just type in Mini Magic, no spaces, and it'll come up. It's like yellow with purple writing. But some good friends of mine started that. And AF is the developer on it, or he's helping with the mint or something, and they have some really cool stuff going on that they have described to me, and some NDA stuff. It's cool. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's gonna
That's
be
one of the collections that I'm going to go heavily into.
Yeah, no doubt. So how many Dead Pixels did you keep?
Seven of them, which is not enough. Right? Like every day, I'm like looking back at Dead Pixels marketplace and seeing if
Really?
these deals for me to pick up. I wanted even. I like even numbers, 10, 20.
Yeah.
30.
Did you ever take a look at the they say it's not really relevant now, but their calculator, their rewards calculator, back in the day?
Yeah.
Like based on if they had 10,000 players, here's what the rewards would look like. So what I noticed was that the floor pixels, like they barely get you any rewards, at least based on that calculator. So to me, it seemed like either one of two things. Either the floors are overvalued or the rares are seriously undervalued. And what's interesting about pixels too is that it's like one of the only projects that I know of where the rares and the floors bring a kind of utility, because obviously we talked in the first place about Bored Apes or Space Buds or whatever. Like the ultra rares are pure clout as far as investment wise, but with pixels it's like it's a different
more
story.
of a gamified experience, and I like that about it. That they have that built in as well, because I mean it makes sense from a collector's standpoint. If I'm going to be buying this for 30,000 ADA, I should be getting more than somebody who's buying a floor one for 1,000 ADA. But I also have a hard time saying anything in Cardano is overvalued in terms of NFTs, because I think I mean everything's worth if you divide by 2 for the 45 cents each Cardano is worth.
Yeah, seriously.
I
What?
think I think the entire space needs to reconsider how much it takes to create a project and start valuing it as such.
Mini magic guys are cool. I need to put them back in there. What are you saying?
I think people in the Cardano ecosystem need to start valuing it as such. Like an ADA isn't worth an ADA anymore. It's only 45 cents, and I think that there needs to be people need to realize that the traction and for their collections and building on their collections, it's really hard to do that when there's zero secondary action, when the prices are 30, 40 ADA. If we want to see something serious come out of Cardano, we're going to need to start asking more as collectors and expecting more as collectors in terms of what we're listing our pricing for.
Right. 1 ADA is really 2 ADA. Is that what you're saying? 1 ADA is 2 ADA. For if you can comprehend that, then you're on board. And if you can't, then well, 1 ADA is 1 ADA. I don't know what to tell you. But I agree. The prices for mint, I think, I would love to personally see, less projects and more dedicated people on the projects to where mint prices are, a decent amount in order so that way they can fund their building and all that.
It's not saying like across the board pricing should be tripled, because then you're going to start seeing just these scam projects tripling their mint cost and running with more money than they were going to run with before.
Yeah.
But for the true builders, the people building something insane, Hadouken with Equine, and like that takes a lot of fucking money to build it.
Dude.
Yeah. ABHS, Clay Nation, what they're building with the Clayverse. People need to start expecting, like, holding out for more when they're listing their NFTs.
Right.
When the floor goes up to 50,000 ADA, and then there's one trade, you're making as much in royalties as you would have at 30 trades at the current pricing, so it's doing more for the project when the prices go higher.
So right, I like what you're talking about with the USD value. So when you were trading, what were you cashing out? Were you cashing out in USD in the beginning? What were you doing with that?
I've taken very little money out of the ecosystem. Pretty much anything that I've traded has stayed within the ecosystem, whether in investing back in angels or investing into other projects and artists that I like to
right.
see.
So you're on the wave of stacking your digital currency.
Right. Obviously, I've taken a little bit out here and there for like an investment and then to pay bills if I need to. Because I left my job 8 months ago to go full time into this and put my full devotion into Angel Baby Hit Squad.
Right.
So I do need to take some money out every once in a while, but I'd say 95% stays within the ecosystem, just because it's what built my wallet. And it deserves to stay within the ecosystem and supporting different projects and different artists in the space, that the people that are doing right by the space.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. I'm on the same wave, same guilty wave or innocent wave. I don't know which one to call it. Yeah, man. We I think about our Charles Hoskinson Austin times a lot, bro, in the past few weeks. I have to say, like maybe a bit of an overshare, but like when I came to Austin, I was like, one day and like you and I weren't like homies then, but like I was coming one day fresh off a breakup, and I was like, wow, like I'm just coming to Austin, I have no idea how it's gonna go. And I was like, all right, I know I'm going to hang out with Clay, whatever. I'm going to Cardano. And like the consensus, the meetup. And the meetup was, I have to say, the meetup was dope. Like Cardano, I did not expect that from Cardano, like free drinks, free food. Like the booths were nice, just, I was very pleased with that. I just thought Cardano was full of nerds who didn't know how to host. But I guess that's not it's not true. Cardano's pimping.
That's what I'm trying to change that perception too. And I
Yeah.
would love to see like I was tweeting this out, just like kind of like shit tweeting, that we should start having catalyst funding for events at various crypto, like NFT NYC. We should have a Cardano party. This other one, we should have a party, and use catalyst funding to show people that it is cool to be a part of Cardano.
Right, and there's merit to that for sure.
There is. I would never sell my Mutant 8 because of how sick the 8 best parties every year.
Yeah.
I want that invite. And if we made Cardano cool to be a part of, we made it like you're part of this exclusive club. You get access to these Cardano parties. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do with ABHS, is show that it's cool to be like that Cardano tie to Ethereum, and you get to experience these cool in-life events, and this is a community that you genuinely want to be a part of.
It is 100%, because everyone's here for the community. Everyone's here for to connect. Everyone's here to have a good time, good vibes, except like, when you start talking about other people's NFT projects. But other than that, man, like the whole ecosystem is special, dude. You can't get that at ETH. You can't, on Degen Tunes you can, because it's all Cardano. Degen Tunes are like 80% Cardano people.
I mean, that's what I feel like, and that's what made me fall in love with Cardano and made me want to build on Cardano and be a part of it. It's because it's a family. I mean, we hung out in Austin and we had the best time. Hang out with Clay whenever I hang out with them, hang out with Doc Seabit, hanging out with Rokindo. Anytime I meet Cinnamon Bun and Kidev, anytime I meet up with people, it's just always, it feels like meeting up with family.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think you see that in other places.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically where I was going when I started the conversation of just like, it was such a pleasure to hang out and connect and to be on this live broadcast now is like just like a cool moment in history, I have a lot of fun chatting with everyone. I don't think I've had like a bad experience or wish I didn't have a certain experience yet. Like literally, I can comfortably say that. Every experience I've had, I'm glad I had it. Even the shit I went through last night. Oh my god, it was dude. The Pixels Discord is could be nasty, man. Like they are pixel maxis, bro. And if you aren't talking about pixels, they don't want to hear it. At least some of them. I had like 6 notifications. Like I don't get Discord notifications, but I see like the red things pop up, and so I had like 6 things. And so I look in there, I'm like, who's talking about CJ in here? So this one dude that I never heard of is just going off, bro. He's like, yeah, after the phone call with AF, I realized he's just a pothead who got lucky with Bitcoin. And he was just going off, bro. Oh my god.
Everybody was getting it. I was in a different Discord that people were tagging me in and saying like, because I said something like positive about Space Buds or something like that, that I was getting like attacked, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, and then everyone tries to cover it with like, they're like, no, I'm not bad-mouthing the project. I'm just saying that it's immoral of you to tweet about it when they're dealing with copyright. And I don't feel a genuine curiosity there, or a genuine like want to be better, or a genuine want to like converse about like trying to be moral, because first of all, there's no claims. Second of all, nothing's changed. If anything, it would actually be immoral of me to be quiet, just to hold back what I think. Like, nah, I'm gonna support what I've always supported and be like, no, I think that Alessandro will figure this out. And if not, well then you can think for yourself. But I'm hyping up the holders. I'm like, hey man, if you still believe it, I'm here.
Right, that's what I was saying. I said something on Twitter. Somebody was like, I was saying like the bigger people in the space were all like this cohort of people just pumping and dumping stuff, and I'm like, no, we like anybody with a name in the space got there because they put in the work to get there.
Yeah.
I came into this space with 30 followers on Twitter up until last year, and then just because I was providing value for the space and saying what I thought about projects and saying what I thought about people and providing good insight into what I thought about the space. That's how I gained the following. And I came in with $500. I didn't come in with $10 million. Just I earned my way here.
Yeah, you sure did, man.
So I don't understand like that people coming in and just being like, oh, this is all the whales pumping and dumping and everything like that. No, and my response is like, you could do it too. Like if you spend it, if I spent it, I was debating actually, like seriously debating, a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, starting over on 1,000 ADA because now at 2 ADA.
That's funny.
And 1,000 ADA to 1 million.
$500. Yeah. Wow.
And see if I could do it.
Wow. Hey man, I'm here for it.
I did it once. I think I could do it again.
Yeah, if you did it once, I would think that you'd be able to do it at an even faster rate.
Really, right, and really, it's just a matter of stepping back. A lot of these new collectors coming in for the first time, they see what's hot on Twitter and they just buy into that immediately, and that's immediately how you're going to lose your shirt. You're going to lose everything.
Right.
It's really about taking a step back and doing what I did, going in, asking questions, learning about projects before going in.
Would you say that? Go ahead.
No, I was saying I had full confidence that I would be able to do it again, just because from the projects that I've decided to back, I've been able to make profits on those trades, and obviously it's 1/100th of the amount of trades that I used to do when that was my primary source of income. But now I think I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy made a good point, which is actually kind of what I was gonna say. He said it would be tough today, but possible. I think doing things in a bull market is different than a bear market. So what I was gonna suggest was, I wonder how much, not to take away from what you did, but just the amount of multiplying that you got, like selling a Cardano bit for 1,000 when you minted it for 20, like. I just don't know. I think that there was definitely an opportunity cost back then, and
naturally it would be in a bear.
Yeah,
there's
naturally.
There's opportunities in a bear market. It's just weeding through the opportunities,
right?
More so than just buying into anything.
Right.
And the reason, and had I bought into everything during the bull market, I wouldn't be in the position I am today now, because I did my due diligence and I put my money into the collections that ended up lasting longer than other collections.
Right.
So I think it's the same thing in the bear market, just with extra protection and extra consideration.
Maybe make it easier on yourself. Maybe do 1,000 to 100,000 ADA, or maybe start at just 1,000 to 10,000. It is. Yeah, it's definitely harder in a bear market.
I can do it. I have so much going on right now, and I think when it becomes a little bit more hands off, then I would have the thorough put to do it, and I think it'd be so beneficial to the space to show that it's doable. I hated when I was kind of coming up and celebrating my trades. Every time I made a good trade and I posted on Twitter, people would be like, "Why are you flexing this NFT?"
Yeah,
like,
man.
I worked for this NFT. You see the 10 trades I made to get it. So I would love to see more flexing on Twitter, and I think that is also goes hand in hand with new collectors coming into space. You see people making money in Cardano NFTs, other people are going to want to come into Cardano NFTs. But if you bash everybody for making money,
right, what are we going to do? Just fucking stay quiet all the time?
Be upset all the time and not be so happy about making some money? Like when I made my first flip for 3,000 I'm like, can you believe
right. Right.
And I think that's a big thing that we see on Ethereum every day. Like, oh, I just minted this for 0.1 ETH and I sold it for 100 ETH. If we saw that on Cardano a little bit, I think people would be very interested in exploring.
And with the supportive community behind it too,
Because people are like, awesome, like, you killed it.
That's what we need to. That's what the space needs to. Space, it does exist, but it needs to.
But we need to lean into it more. And
yes, agreed.
That was more what I was like going at when I said I wanted to do the challenge again. is to kind of have people celebrating those little wins, have people celebrating the flips, because I think that is what we need to see more about in our ecosystem.
Yeah, 100%. Very well said about leaning into it. I think it needs to be more normalized. Yeah, where it's like, hey man, crypto Twitter or NFT Twitter is about flexing and showing, because we're all here very early. We're all here in a time where, you know, everyone needs the support. Everyone can use the support, whether or not they need it. But definitely the negativity will sting harder when it's so early.
Right, and we're building this whole space is building digital identities, building
Yeah.
a brand around these digital identities. Why would we not celebrate when our digital identity wins? You know,
Yeah.
we should be that, and we should be supporting each other in that way.
Yeah. Man, you know, I have to say, I'm so fucking proud of my space buds. I didn't do anything in particular, or maybe I'm just...
You're playing yourself down to come into a space and have that conviction about a project when it was 2000 ADA, 3000, 4000 ADA, whatever it was. To have that conviction to go in so heavily, that takes a lot of balls, a lot of research to figure out which collections you wanted to buy, which attributes you wanted to buy.
Right.
I wouldn't play it down. And that kind of movement on a collection does wonders for the entire space, to get people excited about it. Like, listen, we're not in the wrong place. We're actually doing Cardano because we believe in Cardano. Sure, we could have gone on ETH and bought 2 Bored Apes and made everything that we did here.
Sure.
But it makes it worth it, seeing that somebody from the outside could come in and believe so heavily too.
Yeah, man. I will say I had kind of a roller coaster with space buds when I first got into them. You know, I was enamored. This is my first time leaning into the collecting side of things. You know, growing up, yes, you know, I always loved Pokemon. I always had that mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna get one of each Pokemon. I'm gonna organize it well in my little Pokédex, or the computer that you go into the health office to the little hospital, and then you go to the computer, swap your Pokemon. I always organized it very nicely, but I just never really leaned into it, other than that's like the really only example I have. But once this, you know, space buds came about and I saw people, you're like, all right, I saw that everyone was giving these values, so they kind of seemed like the Bitcoin of Cardano NFTs to me. It's like, without that, like they are a yin yang. Like without them, Cardano NFTs wouldn't exist, and then I don't know, vice versa or whatever. But I kind of just noticed that everyone loved them, and I was like, all right. So then I just started digging into the rarities, man, and the like, just how clean some of them can be, how loaded some of them could be,
And you did it the right way. That was exactly the way that I was collecting when I first got into the space.
Yeah.
How I was making those flips. I was finding those small rarities, the aesthetics. You made stories behind each one. That's
right.
Like I would make stories about my NFT.
You have
to sell them to people. Yeah. Exactly.
But the beauty of that.
Of each one. Yeah.
The beauty of that is that once you tell the story, that one. And you know, I grew up in more of like a negative environment, or like, you know, just always, you know, keep your eye out, or like not see the worst in someone, but like, what's the worst that could happen? So when I think of selling your space bud, like giving it a story, it kind of is like, to me, what goes on in my head is like, oh, you're just being a salesman type thing. But the thing is that when you create a story that resonates with someone else, or just a story that makes sense, it lives with the space bud forever at that point, and then that person, go ahead.
It's pervasive. It
Yeah.
sticks. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You build the backstory, and what's cool is then the next person can build on that backstory.
Exactly.
Each space bud becomes a movie where you kind of look into the life of that bud, and I love that about this collection. I love that about a lot of the collections where you can distinguish between attributes, and you could say like this one went on a date with the roses and whatever else.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that I really liked, and those are the ones I leaned into too when I was flipping, when I didn't appreciate the aesthetic so much. I created a backstory so that others would understand me.
It's kind of gross that if I think about all the rares I bought, I could probably have like 1,500 floors or 1,500 space buds. But whatever.
That's what if I could have gone back, I always tried to work my way up. I want to like eventually one day have one of each character.
You know what I've been working on? I'll share it on this live because I was working on it for months and then let it go, but I'll bring it up now. I was working on, and I got close, but I never locked it in, but I was working on getting a collection where I had one of each character, including the bears, meaning panda, black bear, light bear, polar bear, and panda, or whatever. And so I was gonna have one of each character, and I was trying to have every single gadget displayed between the like 20 characters or 17 characters or something like that. Meaning like, does that make sense? Meaning like,
yeah, I know what you mean. Like, so you have at least like one gun, at least one umbrella.
Yes.
Within
So every single one.
Smallest subsect of characters that you can do.
Yes, with every single gadget displayed. Meaning, yeah. And I was fairly close.
I wonder if that's possible.
It's possible. It's just really freaking hard because you could have like you could have like 2 sick ass apes, but you can only use one. And then maybe, along the way, I didn't get as many lions as I wish. So then I look at my lions and I have like 3 lions and like only one of them has a harpoon. But wait, I'm using the harpoon on the robot. So now I can't, and then I can't use any yo-yos because I'm using my bull yo-yo. And I only, I mean,
that would be very that would be like the dream collection.
Yes. So I think now I should probably go back and see if I can make that happen and probably pick up some cheap buds now. Now's probably the time to capitalize on that. But I was very close. I think I was like 4.
I figured it out before. I would write out the plan of which specific buds you need to complete the goal.
But that's the problem is that there's so many different ways I can go about it because I can use this one that'll then cancel out this gadget or vice versa.
That's great. I love that idea.
It's wild.
That's something that I would do if I had the capital.
Yeah, totally, right? I mean, it would just be so sexy. And then there's also, you just have to decide where to land too because you could be like, I mean, dude, you could even go as far as, I want every color of every character. I want every color of every gadget. But then that's just overkill because now you're talking about hundreds of space buds.
No, that's overkill. I think gadget and character is enough.
But then, like...
And then you have the dino in there, too.
Don't say that. I know, yeah, that's the one I'm going to be missing, but it's fine. It's fine.
One day. When you could flip the rest for the dino, then you'll do it.
I don't even know if I want the dino at this point, Why would I want to spend $1 million on a dino? It seems ridiculous, but maybe. I mean, never say never. Never say never, so. There was one thing, that I wanted to ask you or talk about. I don't know. I should really start writing questions down before I interview people, bro. I've never written one question down.
It's all good. I feel like any interview that I've been on is always off the cuff.
There's been some chatting going on. Hey Fet, when are you gonna delete the FUD you posted regarding Tiger Society? Oh my god. Cardano NFTs can also prevent you from losing money in trading more expensive ETH NFTs, at least currently during the bear. I mean, I guess that just depends on how hard you go, right? Like if you have $1,000, you can sweep the shit out of a Cardano NFT floor and then lose it all. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, but also you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't expose yourself to ETH a little bit. I think, like, if you bought one mutant ape.
Don't say it. If you bought one Bored Ape.
Yeah, even a mutant ape, you would at like floor when it hit like 1.5 or it's at 20 ETH now. If you bought a doodle is at 1 ETH or 0.5 ETH, it's at 18 ETH. If you bought a Moonbird, it's at 1
And
ETH,
bro,
it's
like
25.
at this point too, who the fuck even cares about the ETH price? There's so much like exciting stuff happening in the NFT that it's like to get in there at 1 ETH just to be a part of that community is something. It makes you feel like you're a part of something else, you know? Like I wish I had a doodle at this point. I'm so glad I ended up deciding to get an ape, you know, like a few months back or a couple months back, because these guys are just doing crazy things and the communities are obviously insane because of just the stuff the projects are doing.
And that's what I hope to see develop more on Cardano, to become that culture, to be a part of. I love what Clay is doing. I think they're in seat number one to become that culture, that cultural shift. To you want to be a part of the Clay Nation and have one of them. I think they're in seat number one for that to happen. But I would love to see that become more of the standard on Cardano, where you become a part of this crazy club because you own this one NFT.
How much of it do you think is inevitable, and how much of it do you think is just on the community? Like I feel like if there was ETH money in Clay, then it would it would be maybe just as big as something like Doodles or.
The biggest thing is outreach. I mean, we're clearly in the smaller ecosystem, so
Yep.
it should be everybody's daily goal to get one person from Ethereum or one person from Solana or from the real world into Cardano NFTs. I mean, that's the entire goal behind it.
There it is
to expose people to Cardano, and we've done it. We've gotten 150 plus people into Cardano for the first time because of the project, and I think that should be that we should need to recognize it ourselves. Stop sitting on the high horse and being like, oh, we're the better blockchain.
Yeah, we're the nerds. Yeah.
We're the better blockchain. We need to show people, get people, show it's cool to be a part of it, and every day get one person in. If we got one person in every day, then it's game over, you know. So I mean, that's what I try to do with every interaction that I have. ABHS, onboarding Charles Gimnick, who's an Instagram artist. He has 570,000 Instagram followers, and he's coming out with a project called Humanity CG on Cardano. And he's posting on his Instagram to 570,000 followers how to create a Cardano wallet, how to buy Cardano NFTs for the first time.
Wow.
So things like that. Yeah, you should definitely check out his profile. It's Humanity CG on Twitter, awesome. And then Charles Gutnick on Instagram. Alexia Rubaud creating Prismatic. She was the animation director for Despicable Me too. All these big artists are coming to Cardano, and we need to show them that this is the place to land.
You know what I was telling someone the other day, or I think it was even yesterday, that right now all the bigger people, if they want to build an NFT project or they want NFTs, they're going straight to Ethereum because that's where all the money is. However, what's interesting is that during this bear market, it seems like even Ethereum NFTs, the volume has insanely dropped, just like, everywhere else. So what I think is going to happen is that the money grabs are going to slow down. And so let's say Dave Chappelle wants to release an NFT, it's not about how much money can we grab now. It's, hopefully, I don't know why I use Dave Chappelle, whatever. It's about at that point, all right, obviously we're not going to make money quick because the markets are down. What's going to be the best foundation for our growth? Because I want my NFT to stand the test of time, and I understand that NFTs are serious, so where do I go? Well, hey, Cardano, just hard forked, and they are now the fastest blockchain on the planet. I'm speaking in the future.
Right.
But so that's that came to my head.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we're weeding, the bear market weeds out those projects, and it allows the people like Clay Nation, like Space Buds, like ABHS to set that foundation, to build exactly what we want to build, and then when the bull market comes around, we're primed to take off because we've built the correct foundation. That's what I'm really excited about with Cardano NFTs, and I hope that everybody just turns their focus towards showing people that Cardano is a viable blockchain
Right.
to build on.
Dude, I had never sent an ETH NFT until the other day, and I didn't I was trying to figure it out, because I've only sent Cardano NFTs, and I was like, what the hell, like, I have to go to OpenSea, and then I was like, wait a minute, no, MetaMask, I don't know. But long story short, I could only send one at a time. Is that correct?
You could batch send. It's just a little bit more difficult, yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Then my whole argument falls upon itself. However, it's so fucking easy to send NFTs on Cardano, man.
So easy and cheaper on Cardano. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone complains about gas on ETH, but honestly, gas now is like $1, $1.50.
Yeah.
So,
but because no
anybody-
one uses it's because it's calmed down, right?
Right, exactly. But anyone using that as an excuse not to mint angels or not to experience Ethereum, it's not really a valid argument.
Right, and it's also good for, I would say, your NFT life experience to at least experience what
To learn.
Ethereum is like. Yeah, to learn.
You can't bash on a blockchain and never have experienced it before.
Right.
Yeah, like it's like you need to open your mind and at least walk in the other shoes before you can make an educated opinion about which blockchain you prefer more.
I agree completely. All right. So do you want to touch on that Tiger stuff or no?
Yeah, it's annoying. So I made a tweet a few days ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, showing some like really awesome art, showing digital lowlights by Joseph Miranda, how he made like 500 different Cardano community members, and then prismatics with Alexia creating like that insane 3D work of the woman. And I was like, how are projects like these having trouble trading and beautiful artwork when a project like this has 1.4 million ADA in secondary? And I just went on the top trading NFTs on CNFT Jungle, and then I looked for whoever didn't tweet in the past month, because I was like, all right, that's a rug. So I found one called Tiger Society. They came out a while ago, like weird art. But I posted it, and I'm like, they haven't tweeted in a month. So this has 1.4 million in secondary and rugs, but apparently they were rugged a long time ago, and then the community members took over, and they're actually building on the project.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I commented below it. I'm like, oh, apparently they're building on this. So I was wrong. But then they made an announcement in their Discord, like, everybody tell Fettuccine that we're actually building, and I'm like, now I don't want to tweet anything about it because you're sending 50 people on my tweets calling me out, and I'm like, you act childish, I'm gonna act childish back.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, it's a fair assumption. Well, I'm glad you cleaned it up. So, all right.
Yeah.
Next.
Obviously, it could have been handled better, but who cares?
Yeah, no worries. If anyone is interested in Tiger Society, check it out. I guess the community's building, and yeah, man. No.
Yeah, I might have to buy a Tiger Society just to.
Yeah. That's what I did with Chilled Kong. I had my differences, but then I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll just buy a Chilled Kong. And so I did.
Yeah, exactly. I need to buy one Tiger Society when I come to buy it.
What's that?
I just need to tweet it like, I love this project so much.
Totally. Yeah, why not? Sure. I remember when they minted, they were hot for a bit, and I was close to getting one, but I didn't end up
They were
doing.
hot. It was one of those things where I just didn't vibe with the art.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that I.
Yeah, they were. They're angry. I think they're angry, and if you like angry art, then go for it.
Yeah.
Swagbito flexes his Twitter gains. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Or flexes on Twitter his gains. Yeah, man. There's no reason not to. ABHS are still affordable. They always have been, son. Now they're just super affordable.
Super affordable now.
Oh,
yeah,
you bought the shark?
If you think about it, you get one NFT for $100. You're getting 8 airdrops. You're getting the free Demon Whitelist
There you
token.
go.
You're getting access to the parties. You're getting access to all their partnerships. I think not financial advice, but I think it's a a pretty decent place to park for $100.
Well, I think at this point, right, if you park $100 there, all those airdrops, if they were merely 10 ADA each, don't you get half your money back? That's fair. If they were just
exactly.
10 ADA each.
And the Demon Whitelist floor right now is 40 ADA, and that you get for free.
So there you go. So 40 plus all the airdrops. If you mint an angel, you can get the majority of your money back. There you go. Through the airdrops. I bought that shark with gains. Dude, did you see the purple shark that sold today?
For
Fet?
999.
No.
Was that the 9?
No. Don't disrespect the purple shark like that, bro. It was purple camo with purple boots and gloves and an uncovered helmet. So it was just purple and white. And it was listed for 15K, and I saw it, and I bid like 11, just hoping the seller would bite. But then this morning I saw it sold for 15, and I guess I'm thinking that Too Pale, who's chiming in, is the one who bought that purple one. The purple one is so sexy.
I saw a shark go for 9999 yesterday, and I was so upset.
Oh my god. Yeah, I know. I think the creator of Onboard is the one who bought that. It was like 9933 or something like that.
So,
question: Do you think owners of Spaceboat NFT images are in jeopardy of copyright? Well, no, there hasn't been any claims yet. So
there hasn't been any claim by an outside artist, and they would have a tough time arguing that in court because everything was retraced and stylized to be a cohesive collection.
To be an astronaut, to be a freaking little astronaut.
Exactly, and like if it was exact copy and paste, there would be some standing in court, but there isn't. So now it's just semantics and people complaining on Twitter, which obviously it's a shitty situation, but there's no standing in court for it. So I'm not worried about it in terms of that sense.
Yeah, I mean,
people are upset.
Whatever Fettuccine says, I say. I'm wondering if the original image creator can take that image from holders. No, I don't fully understand that question.
They could unpin from IPFS and just leave it as a black screen, which would be insane. But I don't think they're going to do
that. Can you delete the FUD regarding Tiger Society? I think he cleaned it up, buddy. Tramps is asking in the Buds Discord if he needs to turn his wall of space bud wolves to lawyer. That's funny. Doodles versus Clay is different in my opinion. Aesthetically, Doodles have more of a mass appeal. Clays have other things going for them. As far as mass appeal, I would say it's like...
I agree with that. I think Doodles is very, very brandable, just in terms of cartoons. But Clay Nation does have that same brandability. If you think about Gumby, if you think about all the old like 1980s.
Well, could we just say that you can clay anything on this planet?
Exactly. You give your kid a block of clay, they could create something. I think that is a lot more accessible.
Yeah, like this guy said, they're different.
It's different and accessible, either way.
Cardano and CNFTs will have the biggest rebound out of the bear market. ADA has the most active on-chain builders right now. Hell yeah, man. That's why I'm here. I believe the same thing.
That's true, but I also want to reiterate that as a collector, you should be the one going out there and showing people that it's worth it to be on this chain. So what if we have the best blockchain in terms of technology if nobody's using it? You know.
Word. I like how you have a different bias than me because you came in for the NFTs.
Right. I wasn't in Cardano until the NFTs.
Right. So you have a different foundation in your brain. What else? Anything? Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Thoughts on unsigs? I love unsigs. I have a bunch of unsigs. Do you have unsigs?
Yeah, I was minting. I think I have like 3 left. I like unsigs a lot. I was in that last stage shooting for the 0000. So I was like spam minting, and I was so upset that I kept not pulling it. So I kept minting more.
Damn, man. I've gotten wrecked on unsigs so far as unrealized profits. Like I bought a bunch when the floor was like 800 to 1,000.
Yeah. So I minted all of mine. I never bought on secondary.
Yeah.
I minted probably 60, 70 of them, and I sold them all around like 200, 150, and then I just held on to 3 when I went at the end. But I really like the idea of it.
Yeah, I like the idea too, and I really like Alexander. He's very.
He's kind of a no bullshit kind of guy too. He has his hot takes, but I appreciate them. He's real.
Yeah.
He doesn't change his thoughts based on what people are saying to him.
Right.
And people appreciate that. I've seen people like the chaotic evil, chaotic neutral thing going around today on Twitter, and he's definitely lawful evil.
Depends, and like actually rebound. Question: any real success story on a rug and then turned into a That's a really good question. Any real success story on a rug that turned into a community takeover? Yeah, don't you know about Coco Locos?
No, the only one that I know of that's been successful in it in Cardano is Ape Nation. They were rugs by their original founders, and then some Angel Baby Hit Spot holders were in the project heavily, and they wanted to take it over. So they asked me to come on as an advisor to help bring it back. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. Fine. And the hardest thing is taking over control of the Discord. They got the Discord handed over to them. They got control of the keys of the minting wallet so that no more could be minted. They got control of the royalty wallet, and then they pushed everything over, and they went from 7 ADA floor to I think it's around 100 and change ADA floor.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so they're rocking and rolling now.
Someone said gnomies or gnomes. I have those.
Yeah, gnomes too, and then some people say gingerbread squad. There are a few that came back, but it's such a tough thing to do. And I think it's so shitty. Kind of like I kind of don't like community takeovers of projects just because you're allowing that. You're like giving the original creators who rugged the pass, you know, where that now they can look back and be like, I created that, and it's still going on even though they rugged it.
It's true. I minted 100 gingerbreads.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have some good losses. I have gingerbreads. I have a good amount of rhino generations. I have a lot of rhinos.
I have a few of those rhino generations too. Thoughts on free mints? Free mints are like the new meta on Solana and ETH, but it's not doable. I went into this a good amount on Twitter recently. It's not doable on Cardano. If you look at a few different case studies, first of all, Bizarre Stars X ABHS airdrop, that was free mint, and we've made about 700 ADA on secondary. And then if you look at Marsbirds, which was an 8 ADA mint, so it's still not free, but they've done 300,000 or 400,000 ADA in secondary with a 12% royalty, which is like crazy high. They've only pulled in 40,000 ADA in secondary fees, and that's $20,000. I want to see anybody create an actual project with $20,000.
What about the goblins?
Well, Goblins is on ETH. It's a whole different ballgame on ETH or on Solana.
But to be fair, they're on a different level. Like even regardless of them being on ETH, they are like
incredible team, incredible artwork. Yeah, but that meta isn't possible on Cardano with the amount of secondary action there is in our market.
Right.
It's not sustainable. Even if you were to be a Play Nation or a Space Bud with 26 million ADA in secondary at a reasonable royalty rate of maybe, let's say 5%. What is 5% of that?
5% of what?
Of 26 million ADA.
1.3 million ADA.
Yeah, so it's $700,000. Like you're not going to be able to create a global brand with $700,000.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's if you get to Space Bud level. That's if you get to claymation level. The free mint meta right now is just not sustainable on Cardano until we get more collectors in the space. Sure, you'll be able to mint it for free and then sell it for 30 ADA, 40 ADA, 50 ADA, but the project isn't going to have the funds to sustain themselves unless they come in with outside funding.
I guess berries would be a very interesting example, but they're the first thing ever on Cardano.
Right. And they only have the only reason they're trading is because they're the first thing. And they don't have enough in royalties to create an actual project.
Right. If anything, they probably, I don't even know what the royalty is on berries, if even. Probably same as Spacebud.
Yeah, probably zero, because Alessandro doesn't want to make anything off of the project.
Yeah.
But that it just goes back to the biggest thing we need in Cardano is collectors, and it should be everybody's goal each day is to get one person interested in Cardano.
I love that, man. I fucking love that. That's what I used to do when Cardano was in the bear market between 2 and 10 cents. I'd be on my personal Instagram every day being like, guys, like, I'm telling you, buy this shit.
Exactly, and I mean, people love telling people about things at the top, but this is the time to be telling people.
Yes, it is.
Don't tell people on Bitcoin when it's 70,000.
Right.
When it's 15,000.
Right. Or 19 for that matter.
19, whatever it is now. But now is the time to be telling people about it, because you're getting in at a lot closer to the bottom than we were a few months ago.
Dude, I was looking at the charts this morning just to stimulate my brain, and it literally looks like we've flatlined. Like, it looks like Cardano is dead. Like, it's been at 45 cents for 30 days now, which sounds kind of...
I made a tweet like with Angel Baby Hit Squad's launch date, and with the Ethereum chart and the Cardano chart next to it, like showing that as soon as we launched, it was just like
oh my gosh.
So I'm like angels have only known a bear market since we launched.
That's
and
true.
We've still had every single day. We still had a mint every day. There hasn't been a day yet with 0 mints. Eventually we'll get there, but imagine what I could do in a bear market, in a bull market, if this is what I could do
right.
in a bear market.
Bam. Let me hit the on that one.
Yeah. I'm so incredibly bullish.
It's
on
true.
The space, what I could contribute to the space, because I know my talents, and I know my bandwidth, and I know I could work harder than most people.
Yeah, that's proven. I'm
excited.
Have you played around or looked at like any charts since you've been in the space in terms of like, let me rephrase that, not charts, but what you believe in terms of cycle theories or stuff like that?
No, I've never been that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I buy things and I hold it in terms of stocks. I'm all about dividend reinvestment. So I'm not a day trader in any sense. When I got into NFTs in the beginning, then I was more of like a day trader of NFTs, but nothing into like macro crypto cycles and everything like that. I'm more of like, the longer I spend in this game, the longer I survive, the better I'm gonna do. I mean, 90. Everyone says 99% of projects are gonna go to zero, and the longer you can stay in this game,
every day makes you stronger. Yeah.
The more you'll end up collecting that 1% who survives, and that 1% is going to take you to the crazy heights that you hope to be at one day. So, the longer I stay in, the longer I trade. That's more for what I look at.
Yeah, man, 100%. I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
Firmly believe that. Well, do you want to share anything else? I feel like it's a good high note to exit out on.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would love if anybody listening collected some angels.
100%.
If you bought an angel, you go connect your wallet in our Discord. You'll get a bunch of airdrops to come. You'll get access to an awesome community, awesome parties.
And share it on Twitter.
Share it on Twitter when you do mint. Pick up some a Humanity CG by Charles Gidnick, that young artist that's coming out soon. really, really awesome, and it's awesome to have that kind of exposure to Cardano NFTs in the public sphere on Instagram. In the real world, he travels the world in galleries, so he talks about having NFTs on the Cardano blockchain. I think that's great. And then Prismatics by Alexia, I think awesome girl. She's really driven about how she's running a project too. I'm always here to support the real ones in the space.
Yeah, 100%. And thank you for all the love, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah.
Follow Plutus_art on Twitter.
Follow Plutus Art on Twitter. Wonder what that is. All right. Cool. Please subscribe and like the video. Yeah, if you're not subscribed already, please do it. Hit the bell too. It helps the algorithm, although I really wish it didn't have to, because I don't think you need to be notified whenever I make a video, but helps the algorithm for sure. Yeah, and thank you everyone, and thank you Fet. I really appreciate it. Much love. Obviously, I'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate the invite, and it is really an honor coming on here and chatting with you. I'm looking forward to meeting up with you next.
Yeah, man. I'll see you in October.
Yes, sir.
All right, homie. Peace. How do I end this?